Thank you and welcome all today. You have reached the Digital Marketing Strategies Data, Automation, AI, and Analytics informational webinar for Northwestern Kellogg Executive Education. Today on the line, we have with us Professor Mohan Sawhney, who's one of the program faculty who will be speaking with us today. I'll introduce him a little bit more later, but for now, Professor Sawhney, you want to come on and say hello to our audience?
Good morning, folks, and welcome to our informational webinar. Really looking forward to telling you more about this fantastic program we've created for you. And after Kai tells you a little bit about Kellogg and what makes this program different, I'll take you through the learning journey.
Thank you, Professor. So as you said, let me tell you a little bit more about Northwestern Kellogg. Before we dive in, kind of set the stage for where you'll be learning and what we have to offer as far as the online community that Kellogg produces. As you are experiencing right now, we have live webinars with faculty. There's office hours with industry practitioners. So those who are in the field and the right now who can give you that day-to-day of what's happening that you can bring and apply to your own business or organization. You get to learn with try-it activities, so very hands-on and world-class guest speakers, as well as other interactive and deep dive discussions. Northwestern Kellogg has been consistently voted #1 in MBA programs, and this has been noted by the U.S. News and World Report just as recently as 2020. And as we talk about why Northwestern Kellogg, we want to talk about who this program is designed for as well. So if we see on this next slide here, overall, this program is for the decision makers of the organizations, from seasoned marketers to customer and product specialists, and just overall business leaders or managers who are in charge of growing the organization or the business. So it is my pleasure to introduce who we have, who's going to walk you through the content today. We have Professor Mohan Sawhney on the line, who is a global scholar, teacher, and consultant for many companies that we've all heard of before. Just today, I've used 3 of the organizations that I have listed here today, from Microsoft, Facebook, Sony, and Adobe. He's published over 7 books. His most recent one is The Sentient Enterprise, which was on the Wall Street Journal's bestsellers list. Once we go through that, I'll come back on and show you how you'll be learning how the program will be delivered and how you can experience and access the content. So with that, I am with much honor and pride put you into the spotlight, Professor Sawhney. Thank you so much. I'll let you take it from here.
Thank you, Kai, and good morning again, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. So this program actually really represents something that I not only teach, but I practice, I advise, I work with a lot of companies, some of which are on this list, but many of are not on this list, that on digital marketing. So, for instance, earlier this year, I spent time with McDonald's working through their entire digital transformation journey. I've been, working with technology companies like Facebook and Microsoft and Salesforce and so on, as well as some interesting startups that are actually building some of the enabling capabilities for digital marketing, such as a company called QualSights that has created a AI-based fast visual insights platform that allows you to see shoppers and consumers in their homes safely during COVID times, and then use machine vision to analyze patterns in their behavior. So it's basically a market research, customer research application that really gives you, deeper customer insight. So we'll be bringing all these ideas and examples and perspectives on my work with companies into the program. So pretty excited to tell you about the program, and and we developed this program based on really a grounding in the MBA courses that I teach. So I teach digital marketing in my executive MBA classes in Hong Kong and in Israel and in Germany. So you're benefiting from that experience of sort of the content being tested, and you're going to get the same exposure that the MBA students do, so the same content. So that's something that I want to add. So let's take ourselves through the learning journey that you're going to be embarking upon. Your learning journey will consist of 8 modules, and I've shown this kind of in a circular fashion, almost like a circle of life. And these modules are actually structured into 5 buckets or 5 categories, right? So the first bucket is customer insights, right? So this is really kind of we start, by the way, excellence in marketing, whether it's digital marketing or any other kind of marketing, excellence in marketing begins with customer insights and customer understanding. So that is the first thing we're going to be focusing on. Once you understand, when we gain these customer insights, you need to actually understand customers in a little bit more granular detail. You need to understand, how they are different, how customers are different, what are the behaviors and motivations that are driving different customer segments. So customer segmentation is a very, very important skill for digital marketers, because what you want to do at the end of the day is personalize your offerings, personalize your messages, personalize your calls to action, to the specific customers. Right. So segmentation helps us to improve our marketing productivity and our efficiency. And now actually segmentation is becoming much more advanced in the digital realm because of addressable media, because of the fact that we can actually target specific customers and individuals and personalize. In fact, this idea of hyper personalization is something also that we will talk about. Once you have a good customer understanding, the next step is to engage customers, right? So once you understand their intent, you can then create content that maps to intent. I really like this idea of mapping content to customers' intent. So for that, you need to understand what is the journey that customers take, that people take as they go through the decision process. So that is something that we'll call customer journey mapping, right? So customer journey mapping is done at the persona level. For each customer persona, we look at the stages and the steps that the customers go through, what information they need, what are the pain points they experience, what are the emotions they go through. And then based on that, we get a good understanding of how we want to engage with them at each stage in that journey through relevant, timely, and useful content, right? So we'll talk about then the next part is that once you understand the customer journey, then you need to understand how to create the content and map that content. And then to make sure that you store that content and organize that content management process in a governed and structured fashion. That's content hubs and the content management process. Here we'll also talk about brand storytelling as a way to engage with customers on an emotional level, a visceral level, by actually creating rich narratives of your brand, as opposed to just giving them facts and figures and information. Once you have your content defined, once you have a customer engagement plan defined, then you need to actually execute your marketing campaign. So this is where we'll talk about agile marketing and always on marketing, how you actually create a more flexible and adaptable and sort of a agile approach to your marketing campaign, so that you're continuously monitoring and testing and learning and improving. We can do that in the digital marketing, domain. We could not have done that when we were relying on television advertising or out of home advertising or channels like that, because the latency, the lead time for you to get feedback is pretty high. But in the digital world, you can literally see in real time how your campaigns are performing and adjust and adapt. That requires us to have a very different approach to the marketing process, and that's something we'll talk about. Now, not only, by the way, not only do you want to execute, you want to improve your execution. So our final step in the program will focus on optimizing your marketing. And this has sort of, to several elements to it, right? First is, before I optimize my marketing, I need to know which aspects of my marketing are working better, right? So that is the science and art of marketing attribution. So attribution is trying to figure out how to assign credit for all of your different marketing touch points to the final outcome that you see, which may be a purchase or a conversion. And then how do you improve the performance using data-driven experimentation? And then finally, how do you scale all of this marketing activity through marketing automation and the application of artificial intelligence and machine learning and analytics to the process? So that is your learning journey, right? So that's but what we will now do is to dig into the specific module. I want to give you a little bit more information on what you can expect to learn in each module. By the way, one thing I want to get out of the way, because I know there will be questions around this, that please rest assured that we're going to be bringing examples and case studies and insights from a wide variety of industries. So you just see a partial list here, right? Technology, telecom, global shipping, athletic goods, pharma, automotive, insurance, hospitality, food, household products, manufacturing. So you're going to have, examples from a wide variety of industries. So please don't worry about, well, I'm in this industry or I'm in that industry, will this be relevant? But I also want to point out that the frameworks that we will talk about, the concepts that we will talk about, the templates that you will be provided, the best practices we will talk about are industry invariant. They apply whether you're a B2B company or a B2C company or whatever industry you're on. The frameworks will be relevant. But that said, I think it helps to have case studies from a range of industries. So this is something that I do. I work with a wide variety of companies. Just last year, for instance, I did work with the National Pork Board, right? So talking about how to do digital transformation of the pork industry, right? And then from there to John Deere, to Accenture, to Microsoft, to a company that makes pallets for retailers. So and then a healthcare company that is focused on revenue cycle management and for analytics for providers. So rest assured that I bring a variety of industries to bear, because many of these are my consulting clients and so on. So there's a broad range of industries we'll work on. Okay, let us now talk about what you can expect in each of the modules. So, by the way, I'm obviously not going to be able to give you everything we're going to talk about in the module. I just want to give you a little bit of a sneak preview, a little bit of a taste, a little bit of a teaser, a little bit of an appetizer on what each of these modules consists of, because there are two purposes of walking you through these modules very quickly. The first is to give you an exposure to the kinds of frameworks and concepts we'll be talking about, but also for you to kind of get a sense for what you can expect from a manner of tone, style, and approach, because you're going to see me in these videos. So I thought it would be a good idea for you to see live, whether you like my face or whether you like the way I talk or the way I communicate, because this is sort of a sample of what you're going to experience in those videos. So that's really why I want to take you through these modules. Okay, so in the first module, the purpose of the first module is to really set the stage of what is happening in the world of marketing. Marketing is going through a transformation, right? And it's going to be it's transforming into a data-driven, analytics-led, optimization-driven science, right? But we still need to preserve our sort of, the value of storytelling, the value of customer insights, the value of sort of really speaking to customers' passions and their pain points. So really, I think today's marketer is a whole-brained marketer. The left brain really needs to think about data, automation, analytics, and experimentation. And the right brain still needs to consider intuition, insights, passion, storytelling, and content. So these two need to come together. So that's the journey we are on. And this journey of transformation really is taking place on multiple dimensions, multiple swim lanes, right? So this is sort of the model that I want to sort of talk about, which are the 5 lanes in marketing transformation. Specifically, how we engage with customers is evolving from exposure marketing, where we expose customers to our marketing communication. We kind of get them in front of an ad, we get some ad in front of them. That is shifting to now what we call engagement marketing, where we actually create content that is timely, relevant, and useful, and we provide customers with value in engagement. Not only value in our product and service, but value in engagement, right? The second lane we'll talk about is how we look at and analyze customer data. So traditionally, customer data has been limited to transactional data, right? What customers did in their purchase decision. But now we have a much broader view of customers. We have new sources of data. We have location data. We have video data. We have social data. We have data that's coming from our apps. We have sensor data. So all of those data sources can now be combined into using a customer data platform or a CDP into a much richer and holistic profile of our customers that we can use. And by the way, the richer your customer profile, the richer your customer data lake, the richer the data in your customer data platform, the more personalized your marketing can be. So that is the second thing we'll talk about, is how you can sort of look at these new sources of data, combine them into a holistic customer profile, use that to personalize your marketing. The third lane is process and execution. This is something I'd mentioned earlier, where we're going to actually talk about the shift in the marketing process from a waterfall approach that is sort of sequential into an agile approach, which relies on sort of experimentation and iteration, and uses some of the concepts from agile software development, like methodologies like Scrum and Kanban can now be applied to marketing activities. So that's something we'll talk about in that context. And the fourth lane we'll talk about is form follows function. There's an old saying in design, form follows function, which means that if your function changes, if the role, then your structure of your marketing organization, the skill sets, the capabilities that you need, the kind of people you need to bring on board will change. So we'll talk about the evolution of the marketing organization and what does a modern marketing organization look like, which is really organized around customers and the customer journey as opposed to marketing functions. And lastly, to power marketing, you make sure that your digital marketing can scale and be optimized, you need a technology platform. Those are the rails on which your marketing runs, right? So we'll talk about sort of this idea of creating systems of engagement and a unified platform that really allows you to engage with customers across channels, across touch points, and across functions like sales, marketing, and customer service, right? So those are 5 lanes in transformation. So in the first module, we'll talk about how marketing is evolving in a digital world. Please note, I'm not talking about just digital marketing here. I'm talking about marketing in a digital world. Sometimes we sort of narrowly view digital marketing as engaging customers with through digital channels. No, but you also need technology for marketing automation. You also need technology, and for your processes need to be created that in an agile way using agile software. So to me, it's really not digital marketing that we're talking about. We're actually talking about technology-powered marketing. And digital channels are just one aspect of that. So that's why I call this marketing in a digital world, not just digital marketing. I want to take a broader, a more strategic, a more holistic perspective on marketing. All right, then when we get to the second module, we're going to really get into customer understanding and customer insights. I'm going to talk about what customer insights look like, what is the nature of customer insights, and how do you actually get customers? What are the toolkit that you will need? Generally surveying customers, talking to customers is not good enough. If you really want to understand what their behaviors and their motivations are, you got to go deeper. And going deeper means observation techniques like ethnography, building customer empathy. If you want to look at customer journeys and you want to sort of map customer journeys, you got to map the customer experience. You got to diagnose the entire customer experience end to end through direct observations. So we'll talk about those methodology as well as human factors research, which looks at the science of interaction, how people interact with the interfaces, whether you're interacting with a website or a mobile app. So this is sort of human factors research is the enabler of UI UX design, right? User interface, user experience design. We'll also talk about new sources of customer insight that are powered by technology. 2 specifically. One is mining social data. The social data mining, there's a lot of sort of, you can now conduct ethnography on the web, on the internet, because you can see in communities and forums what people are saying about your brand, your company, your industry, and you can glean insights from there. With the power of AI, you can do keyword recognition, you can look at patterns. So we'll talk about how you can mine social data to generate insights. The other thing is that you can actually now leverage artificial intelligence and machine vision to gain customer insights. Remember, I was telling you about the company Call Sites. This is a video that we'll talk about this case study. So what you're seeing here is actually the video that the shopper is recording as they're shopping. And then what you do is you record this video, and then your AI algorithm can see that if this is my target brand, this is my brand, what are the other brands that they looked at? What did they say? What were the emotions that they were expressing as they were talking? That text data, that speech data, that vision data, that video data can all now be analyzed using artificial intelligence to detect patterns in customer behavior. So those are some new ways that we can gain customer insights. So moving on to the third module, with the armed with our customer insights, we also realize that customers are different, right? People are different, as I say, different strokes for different folks. So in order to do this, what you need to do is to start understanding how customers are actually different and that is the idea of segmentation. But segmentation should not be done just based on demographics or based on some, profiling criteria. What you really need to understand is the response patterns. You want to really understand what we call BAM, right? Behaviors and motivation. Segmentation that is done, that is data-driven, that is response-based. We'll look at the steps and response-based segmentation or data-driven segmentation. And then we're actually going to talk about how you prioritize your customer segments, because you can't pursue everybody with the same message or the same offer. So what are the criteria in selecting the target segments and prioritizing customer segments? But then what we'll talk about is something very interesting that is going on in segmentation, and that is the evolution of behavioral marketing. The idea here that you combine rich behavioral data, and behavioral data is intent and actions and profiles. All of these are combined. Then you combine this with automation and analytics, right? Automation through scale and analytics to sort of optimize. And this is behavioral marketing. So in behavioral marketing, what happens is that we're going from broad segments and audiences to actually potentially segments of one. This is something we also now call hyper-personalization. And all the other changes that instead of segmentation being done as a batch process, in the old days when I used to do segmentation studies, we would do surveys once a year, or once in 2 years, we'd create a customer segmentation study. But now we're literally doing it on a continuous basis in real time, right? So that is the state of the art in segmentation. And that is the idea of automated behavioral marketing. That's what we're going to talk about. All right, so once we have completed our understanding and our analysis of customers and customer segments, we need to now get towards how we engage with them. So this is where we'll talk about the customer journey and how do you map the customer journey? How do you create a visual narrative of the customer's journey, including by defining the steps that they go through, the information needs that they have, the job that they want to get done, the emotions that they experience, the barriers or pain points that they have, an opportunity that you have to innovate and to engage with customers at each stage in the journey, because your content has to be appropriate to what they are looking for, what job they're trying to get done, what are they trying to accomplish at each stage, right? So that's the idea of mapping content to intent. But this content then also needs to be managed in a cohesive, in a governed manner. So that is, for example, what I'm showing here is the framework for the content management process. The content management process in a large organization can get pretty sophisticated, pretty complex, right? So you have there are sort of 3 steps here: the creation of content, the storage and organization and indexing of content, and the distribution of content. So we'll talk about this entire process of how you sort of you get content from 3 sources. Content you create, content you curate from third parties, right, experts and so on, and content you crowdsource from customers. So all of these sources of content, and by the sources of content can be employees, they can be partners, they can be bloggers, they can be industry experts. So all of this then goes into a content hub where you have the metadata, where you can tag and index the content, and then finally you have a distribution that the content goes out to the different channels, owned media, as well as the paid media, as well as, so, and you might sort of, this content may manifest itself in form of an email, it might be in form of a blog post, it might be in the form of a, content on your website or your mobile app and so on. So that's the whole content management process that we're going to talk about. By the way, what is the ERRC grid? The ERRC grid is the idea that you can look at a customer experience, you can eliminate certain pain points, or you can enhance, you can reduce, you can increase, or you can completely eliminate certain problems that customers face in the experience. So that grid will help you to organize your improvement strategies for the customer experience. In the 5th module, we'll continue our discussion of content, but really talk about how we engage with customers in a way that is inspiring, in a way that is compelling, in a way that is memorable, in a way that sticks. And that is the idea of storytelling. Storytelling, I can tell you folks, is becoming a very, very important skill in the corporate world, in the startups and companies that I work with. In fact, at Microsoft and Salesforce, I teach specific courses on storytelling, on brand storytelling. So we'll begin this module by talking about what is why stories are so powerful, why are they so universal, why are they so ubiquitous, why are they so sticky, why are they so memorable, why are they so inspiring. Then we will study the idea of story archetypes. There are only a few stories to be told. There's a fascinating book that I have on my shelf. It's called The 7 Basic Plots. There are 7 basic stories. So by identifying the story archetypes, we can associate our brand with a story archetype, such as Nike associating its brand with the hero or overcoming the monster archetype, right? That's a story. Now, what is the monster in Nike's case? It's your own sloth. It's your own laziness. That's what you're trying to overcome. So then we will also then talk about how brands can tell stories, because stories come in many ways. Brand storytelling is a specific aspect of storytelling. And this is where the brand actually becomes a solution to a problem or a conflict or a pain point that the customer is experiencing. So we'll talk about how you can take brands and insert in themselves into stories that are relevant to customers. And finally, we'll talk about the idea of how the storytelling is changing in a digital world. There's a very interesting concept that comes from the movie and entertainment industry called transmedia storytelling. So transmedia storytelling is the idea that you actually have an integrated story experience that plays out over multiple channels in a mosaic. It's not the same content that you're repurposing across channels, but you're creating an integrated story experience. So this is an example of a framework that we will use, a structure of a story. This is also called the Freytag pyramid. So there's basically a beginning of the story, the base reality, then there's a conflict and tension and complication, and then there is a climax, a resolution and climax. So that's the structure of the story. In our 6th module, we're going to get into process, right? So here, the core notion we're going to talk about is how you can accelerate marketing execution, how you can make your marketing faster, more adaptable, and increase its predictability and effectiveness by using the concept of agile marketing, right? So agile marketing is the idea that we do not do big launch, we do not do big ideas and big budgets, right? So in the old days, we would have a big strategy, we would do a test, and then we would launch a massive campaign, and then we would see the results. That is no longer now valid. What we need to do now is to actually do this entire plan, design, launch, measure in a very short time-bound, what we call a sprint, 2 to 3 weeks long. And after that, we get some insights. We test it with customers, and then we actually adjust and adapt, and we go through the cycle again. So this is this notion of sort of agile marketing or agility applied to marketing. So we'll talk about how this process works, how it is different from conventional marketing. How do you actually implement agile marketing? What is the what is the training and onboarding that is needed? And finally, how do you scale this agile marketing in a large organization that might have thousands of employees? So that's your sort of 6th module. In our 7th module, we can start to talk about the analytics. In analytics in marketing, really first focus on attribution. Attribution is the idea of figuring out how to assign partial credit to all of your marketing activities and touch points in the customer's final purchase decision or some target outcome that you target. So here we'll talk about sort of 2 approaches to doing attribution. One is sort of the top-down approach, which we call MMM, which is marketing mix modeling. So that is marketing modeling at the aggregate level. If you look at aggregate macro parameters in your market, and then you look at the effect that different marketing instruments and variables have had. This is the more conventional approach. This is something that we've been doing for many years, for almost 40 years. We've been doing marketing mix modeling. A newer approach is a bottom-up approach as opposed to marketing mix modeling being top-down. So in the bottom-up approach, we do multi-touch attribution by looking at addressable media and seeing the impact that each of these touch points has on individual customers and their purchase decisions. So we'll look at sort of how you build multi-touch attribution model. By the way, today you have a wide variety of heuristics-based multi-touch attribution model that you'll find in Google Analytics and Facebook Analytics and so on. Facebook has an attribution tool. And you can have like last touch models, first touch models, equal model, credit models, and so on. So these are heuristic-based models, but they're also data-driven multi-touch attribution approaches, which rely on experimentation and testing to actually understand what the effect of the different marketing instruments is. And that then takes us to the idea of marketing testing or experimentation. So we'll talk about A/B testing. A/B testing is really kind of split testing, where you want to sort of see how a variable of interest, let's say it's a landing page design or a call to action. So you create 2 versions of it or multiple versions of it, and you send different customers into different cells, and you see the results. So that's the whole idea of A/B testing and marketing experimentation. In the final module, we're going to talk about some advanced applications of technology in marketing. 2 specific areas we're going to focus on are marketing automation, which is the use of marketing automation platforms to manage your marketing workflow and to design and implement your marketing campaigns. Nowadays, it's no longer possible to just run your marketing manually. You need an automation platform to be able to scale your marketing campaigns and to adjust and adapt them. So we'll talk about the marketing automation workflow. Then we'll talk about how you optimize your marketing using analytics, and particularly now using AI and machine learning. So artificial intelligence applications in marketing now span the entire customer cycle. So we'll talk about how you use AI to understand customers, to reach customers and discover segments, to do customer acquisition, to do improvise, to improve conversion or conversion rate optimization, and also to retain customers and to reduce churn. So we'll look at applications across the entire life cycle of artificial intelligence and machine learning and some of the state of the art in this process. Now, through this entire program, you will bring to the program a business problem, a digital marketing business problem, right? So you will define this business problem, and the goal at the end of the program through this capstone assignment or transformation challenge is to create an action plan. And create an action plan for your business problem. And this action plan will consist of different steps or stages. For example, the customer insights that you need, the content strategy that you need, the execution and implementation plan, the KPIs and measurement metrics for success. So as we go through each of the content modules, you're going to be working on an aspect of this marketing transformation challenge. So by the time you're done with the program, you have a full end-to-end action plan completed. So this will allow you to actually put your ideas and frameworks and concepts into action, and action that is relevant to you, that is contextually relevant to you, because you're going to be able to bring your own problem, right? So this is the capstone assignment that you will do. You'll also have week-specific assignments, but this is the overall sort of the capstone that's going to thread your learning together and allow you to apply it to your particular context. So that is in brief, the learning journey, the 8 modules, the process that we will go through, and some of the frameworks and concepts that we will discuss. I hope that gives you a flavor for the kinds of frameworks, best practices, and examples and ideas that we will cover. But then what happens on a week-to-week basis? What is that learning experience? And what are some of the aspects of the learning experience that make this program unique and different? For that, I'm going to now invite Kai to tell us a little bit about the learning experience and what you can expect on a week-to-week basis.
Thank you so much, Professor Sani, for going through that content with us so thoroughly. I truly appreciate it. So with those modules, we offered bite-sized learning. So again, it's a 2-month program, and we're looking for you to carve about 46 hours per week to work on all your assignments and prepare for your capstone project. But you'll be watching about 5 to 10-minute video segments, and they're designed in a way that you can watch them on the go. Everyone here stated they are working currently, so we want you to be able to manage your workflow as well as getting your learning done, as well as being able to apply it directly to what you're doing in the now, so you can truly work side by side with your learning. There are peer discussions, quizzes, again, all of those designed to make sure that you are grasping what you're learning, and whatever you feel like you're missing, you will have support along the way in the form of course program leaders. Okay, so you have your program leaders who you'll be in frequent communication with, and they'll be highly guiding you through your experience. So when you get through those bite-sized classes and those learnings and any of the video assignments, if you have any questions, these are your who you want to go to with those Q&As. They have live office hours. We urge you to go there. That's where you get to really let loose. You'll be all kind of in the situation how we are set up here in the webinar, but being able to speak with your peers and your program leaders and ask those questions and learn from each other at those live sessions. You'll get direct feedback on your assignments. So this is great for those who want to apply what they're learning to directly and right away to their organization or their business, as well as moderated discussions for a much more engaging experience, much like how we're engaging right now, and how you're engaging with your participants in the chat. And we want to curate those experiences, and there's more learning opportunities with our live faculty webinars as well. Okay, so we have online interactions. As you're enjoying learning today with Professor Sani, there are more opportunities to learn with him and a chance to ask questions. Again, the live sessions are the ones you want to be able to get those questions asked and any of that understanding and share your thoughts and get more feedback in those spaces as well. So if you're enjoying your time now, you'll be able to interact even more so in the class, as you'll be able to interact with your video and audio as well. And here we have just a participant profile showing you here. The gist of this slide is that this is a very wide variety of different organizations and industries that come together. As you can see here, we have 36% of our participants come from a field other than what's stated here. The general, healthcare, consulting, retail, and IT, and so on. And on the next slide, we have work experience, which we've experienced this now in the chat. About 60% have 15 to 20 years experience. A few of you shared in the chat already that you have 15 to 30-year experience, again, falling directly into this participant profile, which makes this course perfect for you. Again, we want seasoned marketers, folks who have been around for some time. This is the program for you, where you can really harness what you already know, learning with so many other participants in the same learning brackets and time spent in the field, and being able to bring your ideas together and bring them back to innovate your own and grow your business or your organization as well. So moving forward upon here, I'm not going to go through and read all participant testimonials, but the general gist here is that the learning was accessible and it was actionable. So not only are you learning, but you were able to bring it right to your business and really grow it, and it's adaptable and transferable. Okay, again, some more voices of various students that were in the past participants here. Again, same theme, accessible, being able to bring those examples to life, and really taken those actionable steps to make your learning transform and actionable in the moment, in the now. Okay, and then upon the successful completion of the program, you will receive a certification of completion. Have your name and the program that you have just participated in. This is great for your online showcasing on your LinkedIn, on your website, or even within your org, and bringing those to the decision makers and showing them that you do have the knowledge and how you can grow the marketing of your organization or your business here. So it's a great way to showcase your learning at the end of the program. So with us on the line here today, who've been in the background, we have our program advisors. Your next step is to get connected with a program advisor who can take you through the application process. It is a 2-month online commitment. Again, looking to curve out 4 to 6 hours per week to work on your assignments, as well as get prepped and ready for your capstone project. Easy to get connected with a program advisor. You can get connected by going to the chat. You can even, right now, if you have your smartphone, you can take the QR code directly from the screen and start applying from your phone, and it will get you hooked up with a program advisor who can take you through any question that you have regarding program logistics. It's a good way to connect your PA to see what time classes are starting, live webinars, really understand where the time commitment falls or lands. Another way that you can get connected is just by emailing us at kellogg@emeritus.org. And if you send an email there, you can also get connected with your program advisor that way as well.
And then your program advisors are able to address the more tactical questions, like when will the live sessions be, what are the assignments, and so on. How do you define intent here? Intent is actually the goal that a customer has in the moment, right? So it's basically what you want to accomplish at a particular point in time. So for example, and this is something that, by the way, Google calls micro moments. So micro moments are specific moments during the customer journey or experience where you have a very specific activity that you want to perform. So for example, in fact, these micro moments, Joyce, are called know now, shop now, board now, sort of learn now, and so on. So for example, if I'm going to a mall, I might want to look up the hours. So that's a micro moment, right? So in looking up the hours, and I want to find the nearest store, or how many of you have done the search, food near me, right? Or grocery near me. If you're going to a new city, you want to look at restaurants near me. So those are examples of micro moments. So the intent in that moment is, I want to find a grocery store that is conveniently located, or I want to find an ATM that is available right now. So that's an example of intent. So intent is your purpose, is your goal, the job that you want to get done, but in a very specific point at a point in time during the journey. So now why intent becomes relevant is that if you can, intent, by the way, moves fast, because as you progress through the journey, the intent that you have has now evolved towards something that is more close to making the purchase decision, right? So for example, let's say it's Black Friday, right? It was Black Friday last weekend in the United States. So, or now Cyber Monday. Yesterday was Cyber Monday. So you're looking, let's say you say, hey, you know what? I want some winter wear. I'm telling you, like, I thought, my sweaters are a little bit old. I want some new sweaters and I want some newer designs. So the first step in my intent is I want to know what is out there and who makes good cashmere sweaters, right? So that's the first. So at that point, my intent is find some good brands of cashmere sweaters. But once I find that brand, the next thing is help me understand whether this brand is a good quality product or not. Then the next stage in the intent might be, now help me find the best price for this brand that I like. And where can I get it cheapest, and when can I get it, shipped most effectively? So based on that, the content that you need to provide the customer, the information that you need to provide them is evolving very, very quickly. That is why you need to be there just in time, not just in case, right? Just in time. So the whole idea of content-based marketing is to be able to provide timely, relevant, and useful content that is reflective of and that maps to and that speaks to the customer's intent at that point in time. So I hope that clarifies the idea of intent. Okay.
Thank you very much. Right. I know we talked a little bit about this being a course for seasoned marketers and such, and folks who've been in this field for 15 plus years. Is this course applicable for someone who's kind of been in the field in almost every department and now here? Is this a good course to take?
Yeah, actually, let me go back and take a, show you this slide that Kai had talked to. So if you notice that 60% of our participants have 15 plus years of experience. So you're in good company. However, that said, it doesn't mean you're an expert in digital marketing and doesn't mean that you need to be an expert in digital marketing. That's what we're going to teach you. That is what this program is about. So absolutely, I think that many of the participants in our program are people who are looking to get up to speed with the state of the art and to upskill themselves even as they are in the middle of their careers. So absolutely, we will welcome you and we will teach you everything that you need to know about digital marketing and advertising. Do you need to have a math background or science background to practice marketing analytics? Or is this all done by AI machines? Well, the answer is no, you don't need to have a math background or a science background. But that said, you do need to have a basic understanding of how analytics works and how to actually drive the analytics forward. So to the second part of your question, is this all done by AI machines? I wish it was that simple. It's not all done by AI. And even if so let me actually sort of tell you what is the difference between what humans do and what AI does in the context of digital marketing. So human beings are very good at what we call expression-based creativity. It's really kind of trying to so because as human beings, we have empathy, we have context, we have understanding of emotions and so on, right? This is, by the way, why customer insights is the first module that I will do in the program. Now, but once you sort of understand customer the insights, you understand the emotions you're trying to speak to, you come up with understand the pain points that you're trying to speak to, you can come up with some creative. You can come up with creative for your search advertising. You can come up with creative for your display advertising. You can come up with creative for your email. So you create a wide variety of creative execution. That is something algorithm cannot do. But once you've come up with 10 different creative executions, you want to test which one of them works the best, which of them works for which audience. That is what machines do for you, right? So machines do information-based creativity, while human beings do expression-based creativity. And the world of marketing is really now what I call the augmented marketer. Augmented marketer is the idea that you're a human beings that are empowered by technology. But no, a machine cannot completely take over the entire marketing activity. Humans have to guide it. But what happens with automation and AI and marketing is that you're freed from doing the grunt work, the dirty work of testing different permutations and combinations of buttons and landing page and calls to action. You just define the framework. You define your high level, what you want experiments to run, and then the algorithms will run it for you. So it's really an exciting combination of man plus machine to come up with better marketing outcomes. It's not one or the other, right? So Amit has a question. Will we be covering aspects around privacy and consent with the recent updates and their impact? In fact, what I will do is in one of the live sessions, we're actually going to cover the idea of the death of cookies, right? The death of third-party cookies, because with Apple and also Google announcing that they are going to basically stop supporting third-party cookies, which is the ability of third parties to track your activity on the Google's site on the browser. It is becoming very challenging now, to run your digital advertising through third parties. So what you've got to do is you've got to take control of your destiny. You've got to get customers to engage with you directly. So improve your access to first-party data by building out direct-to-customer applications. So we'll talk about aspects of that the implications of GDPR and CCPA and other privacy acts on creating. And what you have to do is to respond to this by obviously by respecting consent and respecting the privacy rights, but also working harder to create your first-party direct connection to your customers, so that because first-party data is something that you own, something that you have control over, because it's going to become more and more challenging to get this data from third parties because of the recent regulatory changes. So I will tell you, Julian, let me share with you a perspective on hiring. So when you hire somebody, right, what I like to say is that you don't hire for intercept, you hire for slope. What does that mean? Intercept is what you know, and slope is what you are, how quickly you're able to learn. So I would much rather have somebody like this than somebody like this, right? Somebody who knows a lot, but is not eager to learn. Somebody who knows nothing but is eager to learn will ultimately catch up with this person, right? So that is the idea. Come with an open mind, come with an attitude that I can do this. You don't need to be technical. You don't need to be born and brought up as a digital marketer. We can teach you this. We can teach you this, and you can actually transform. All it needs is a positive attitude and a frame of mind, and and the rest is detailed. So we're not taking. There is no prerequisite for this program. I do not take any prior knowledge for granted. Everything that we will teach you, everything that you will learn, will be built up from the ground up. So please don't be stressed if you don't have a math or science background, if you don't have 10 years of digital marketing experience. Come in with an open mind. That's all that we ask of you.
You can use your smartphone if you have that, or any smart device that can grab a QR code. You can also get connected with the program advisor that way, and they can answer any of those questions related to timing, when the live webinars and sessions are, Q&As, all of those questions that are logistic and especially specific to you because you're in a different time zone. Please get connected to the program advisor. Grab that link now. Again, you can even go back through, look over the modules, and if you have questions then, you can still connect with your program advisor. We want to support you along the entire way of getting connected and applied through your journey in the program as well. So please don't hesitate. Any and all questions, please. We are here to help you. We don't want anyone to be confused or feel like they don't have the information they need in order to get started. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us.
So I want to thank you all for joining us today. I hope that we have given you a flavor for what you can expect from the program, what makes this different. And we've been running this program very successfully for some time, and we have more than 4,000 alums of the program who have been pretty pleased with the outcome and the results. So I hope to see every one of you in the program.
Yes.
So thank you so much for joining us today, and stay safe, folks. And we hope to see you in the program.
Thank you all for participating. It really made it fun.
Thank you.